But I think style is actually extremely political.
Can you talk about assumptions that people have about you based on your style?
I grew up in a small town in Texas, and I grew up in a sort of post 9/11 queer body. Even despite being told that I was a terrorist every single day, being called a faggot every single day, being called a tranny. And I think that there's this hierarchy that gets drawn between sort of flamboyant faggotry or like queer femininities or like trans femininities as being somehow inferior or less legitimate than womanhood, because we're always seen as sort of imposturing to be women. I feel like the way I understand my gender is that I am both a man and a woman, and neither a man or a woman. I'm outside of these entire categories. I think they see me and they see me as a failure. One day I hadn't shaved in like 2 weeks or something, and I was getting off the train and this white man was about to enter the train, and the doors open and he screamed, "Osama," like really, really loudly. And then I was like petrified, because my entire life I've known that when people call me a terrorist or Osama or Bin Laden or whatever, you run. You run, because no one's gonna defend you. And then he looked down and saw that I was wearing stiletto heels. So I had a beard, but then I had heels. And then he cut himself short. He said, "Stop." And it's this really weird moment where I no longer fit his stereotype of a man of color or sort of a terrorist. So when people see me as a brown person, they automatically masculinize me too, because of this idea of the like terrorist idea. Like the other day I was using the bathroom and I walked into the women's restroom, and this older white lady came up to me and said, "What do you think you're doing, sir?" And I said, "Using the bathroom." And then she pointed to the door like very vehemently and was like, "This is the women's restroom." And then in this moment I was so frustrated, because I knew that I had to say I was a woman. Like if I walked into the men's restroom in this dress right now, there's a serious chance that I could be attacked. Like, what are you doing? And so I just said, "I am a woman." And then she looked at me and said, "Oh, you must understand why I was confused." People would come up to me and say, "Why do all Indian people smell bad? Why are you all like dirty?" I would go home and tell my mom, like, I kept on washing my hands, but this brown wouldn't come off of me. I grew up feeling ugly because I was brown. I thought brown people could never be desirable, could never have sex. I thought we were all ugly, and we all needed to be white to be beautiful. And then when I started to present more feminine, people started to call me a faggot. When we go to the club, everyone's gonna be like, "Oh my God, I love your outfit." But no one's gonna ask us, "How are you getting home?" They don't care, because I think trans feminine people only matter when we're fabulous. The very core of misogyny against trans people, or trans misogyny, is that we're always masquerading as something we're not. That we're always just put on this dress to trick someone. And so therefore we are always seen as worthy of our violence. That's why people don't stand up for us. It's kind of like, you chose to be that way. You have to take the brunt of it. The world I'm fighting for is where we stop making assumptions around everything, where we allow people to self-narrate their bodies. I think that's a profoundly radical act, because we exist in a Western colonial system that's invested in categorizing every single thing about you, and creating norms about every single thing, rather than actually recognizing none of us fit into norms. My politics is, I am me. I am Alok. And Alok exists outside of your colonial white supremacist heteronormative gender binary. I don't have to be a woman or a man to be coherent. And I think that threatens so much of the fabric of the society. I wasn't born in the wrong body, I was born in the wrong world. I see my hair as part of my femininity. If I have a beard and lipstick, that's part of who I am. Why do we always put the onus on people to change their bodies, and the onus on people to prove or authenticate themselves to other people, versus have society shift their norms? This is why trans women get murdered, because what ends up happening is that when they're hooking up with someone sees a penis and then kills them. Like literally, it's the most misogynist idea, where women are defined by vagina. That's why like trans misogyny also affects cisgender women, because cisgender womanhood should be more than your vagina. A lot of trans people I know will like have surgery, have hormones, whatever, because of safety, not because they wanted to. What I'm fighting for a world is that we can just say, You know what? My body is on my own terms. I think what's also frustrating is that we ask trans people to have all the answers. How the hell am I supposed to have all the answers when I grew up in a world that erased my existence? I'm still figuring it out.